Hey, Restorers, thanks for checking out a fresh episode of the Restoration Today podcast. Today, I'm excited to have somebody back that I've had on the podcast before, and I actually think he was maybe one of my first podcast guests ever, like way back in the day when I was somewhere else at a different publication. But anyway, and somebody new, a new face, which is also always so exciting for me, especially when it's a woman in the industry. So I am joined by Idan Shpizear and Miri Offir. They are both from 911 Restoration. Idan is the founder, Miri is the CEO, and 911 Restoration is known as the Fresh Start Company, which I've always found really interesting and unique and a big differentiator in the market. And there's a lot going on in the restoration industry today, and I love bringing on companies to kind of tell their stories, what they're seeing in the marketplace, especially leadership, the trends, all of that. So Idan, I'm going to toss it over to you to kind of introduce yourself first, and then we'll go over to Miri and introduce yourselves first. And Idan, share a little bit about the background of 911.
Yeah, of course. Yeah. So my name is Idan Shpizear, founder of 911 Restoration. As you hear in my accent, I'm originally from Israel. Got into the carpet cleaning, through the carpet cleaning into the restoration, online lead generation, and then kind of looked at the idea of how can we collaborate with other restoration companies under the same name. And this is where 911 Restoration came, and the idea of the fresh starts and what is it that we can represent in the market. So fast forward to today, we have about 120 owners. We are covering 260 or 280 territories. We're building a very unique culture, as you're going to hear from Miri as well. We are very passionate about what is it that we stand for as people, as a company. We understand the importance of how we can impact communities. I mean, especially in the restoration industry, when people go through a disaster, an emotional disaster. So what is it that we can bring to their life when they're going through the disaster that they're going through? And I think we've been very proud of our franchisees that are able to really represent the fresh start attitude. And it's been, a personal journey and an overall, a journey as a team. Me and Miri have been working together for some years now.
And, wise way to do that.
Yeah. And so for us, is also on a personal level, is how can we show up? How can we show up in a way that we can really create a space for people to grow? Really create a space for people to add value to other people that they see and meet. And I think we're blessed to do it in the restoration space, right? When people really needs somebody to come and take care of them and listen and understand that they're going through an emotional disaster. And Miri has been amazing in everything that she did, right? And now Miri, how long has it been since you stepped as the CEO?
About 2 years.
Yeah.
I think.
Yeah. So just continuing her way of bringing harmony, really celebrating the fresh start, really creating a beautiful culture of how we work internally with our team and transparency. So just been beautiful to see.
Perfect. Well, that was a great tee up and a great segue. So Miri, go ahead and introduce yourself a little bit more and share your background in the industry and then kind of your movement upward into CEO at 911 Restoration.
Yeah, absolutely. So my name is Miri. I'm the CEO, very grateful and honored to be the CEO of this amazing company. I've been working with Idan. I met Idan back in 2003. And then, I have 2 kids and I took like 2 or 3 years to raise them. Then I came back, back in 2007. And, since then I made a promise to Idan that I'm going to stay for at least 5 years. And I definitely kept that promise. I don't think there was a role that I haven't fulfilled throughout the years. It was pretty much whatever Idan needed. I was like, absolutely, I'm a go-getter. I'm going to do it. From customer service to office management to accounting to franchise support. A strong background in marketing. Back at the time, we realized the power of the internet with Google and Google Ads. So that was my focus. It was a great journey, and we were able to establish an in-house lead generation team. So that's my true passion. And then, fast forward throughout the years, franchise consultant, and then, CMO, COO. And today, again, very grateful to be the CEO of this amazing, amazing operation. When I came back to 911 in 2007, I came as a single mom and going through challenging divorce. And 911 was my home. 911 was kind of the light, like everything is going messy in your personal life, and you have that thing that is stable. You have that great environment. Idan was great. I always say, always believed in me. And here I am today. My biggest goal back then is to support my children. And here I am today overseeing, the company, and I'm very grateful for it. So I have a sense of giving back to this wonderful company, gave me so much.
I love it. Oh, I love it. Okay. So this seems like a crazy question now because you've kind of answered it in a big way already, but what do you feel differentiates 911 Restoration from the many other franchise opportunities out there? I know that is a struggle to, get people to differentiate yourself in the market, especially with M&A and industries consolidating, and there's PE interest, and we're just in a really interesting time in our industry, right? So what do you, culture is obviously a big thing. So I don't know, Miri, you want to take this one first, but what would you say are the big differentiators for 911 Restoration versus other options that are out there?
It is a culture, right? It's who we are and how we do things. For us, it's all about people. I think in many other companies, people are numbers, including clients. That's not us, right? One of the things that we do in training when we onboard new franchisees and constantly HQ is that first see the person that is in front of you, be open to see them, understand them, see the other side, and help them. Because first, when customers are reaching out to us, they're going through such a major emotional damage. Where other companies are very technical. Oh, okay, here's the DU, here's the, air mover. So that's what we do. The approach is different. It comes with a lot of empathy. It's communication. It's listen. It's understand where they're at. Whether if it's a homeowner, whether if it's a mom, whether if she has children at the house and, the house is flooded, whether if it's a business owner that right now it's a major financial loss. So it's first put their needs and see how we can accommodate based on their needs and come up with a fast solution. So I think that's in a very high level. That's really who we are, and that's our culture, whether internally with HQ and with our franchisees and with our customers.
Perfect. Idan, anything that you want to add to that?
I think you summarize it in a great way. I just want to add that it's the real experience within the company. Right. So it's not just a high level, nice thing to say. It's we actually, this is how Miri operates the company. We really take the time to discuss things with our team, right? Sometimes it will be easier to say, listen, just do this and that's it. Listen, I don't have time to hear right now. We just need to get this thing done. Sometimes it will be the easiest route to take, but that's not the company that we want to build. So it's really being part of the experience of the company. It's really, if it's meeting with the committee of the franchisees, it's really inviting them to some of the hard decisions that we want to make. We really want to hear their voice. We really want to see that when we decide something as a company, that as much as we can, everybody is part of this decision, right? So it's the actual experience in the company.
So when you have like 120 owners, how do you keep this culture going amongst all of the different franchisees? Miri is smiling in a knowing way. That's a big undertaking to get a culture that is consistent across that many locations and that many owners. So you don't have to share all your secret sauce, but what are some of what you do to make that happen?
Yeah, I think it all starts and ends with the culture, right? First, you have to be open-minded, open-minded to know that there are things that you don't know. Right.
Yeah.
And that whoever you speak with, there's something that you can learn from him. Right. So I think that's a big thing. And I think especially like in leadership positions, it's something that is rare to find in a lot of companies. So that's the first thing. The other thing is patience. Right. Sometimes, and Dan is laughing, but I'm challenged. I embrace it. Every time when I'm challenged, I was like, okay, this is an opportunity for me to learn something new. I know that I'm out of my comfort zone. there's a challenge right now. I know that I'm going to stretch a muscle, whether if it's my patience muscles or whatever that is. I'm going to be a better version of myself, and be able to better support people. The other thing, which is maybe the most important, is the ability to put myself in their shoes. It's something that I've learned throughout the next 2 years. Well, I've been in the company for so many years and I thought I know it all, but the last 2 years have been such a great journey and such insightful and eye-opening. Put myself in their shoes and wear their glasses for a second and have their perception. So that's really the big thing, because once we have all these three, then we can be open to a conversation. And we do have disagreements. Sometimes we agree to disagree. I think overall, with major decisions that we've had today, we're able to overcome them and find common ground. And I think that's really worked out really good for us. So it is challenging, but at the same time, it's a huge learning opportunity. And for me, that's what it's all about.
Yeah. Idan, anything you want to add to that one?
I think just as leaders, as what you represent, when you really embody the culture as a leader, I think it's kind of goes through you. People understand that it's real. We're not just saying these nice things and then we behave in a different way. When you really embody it, people is like, okay, this is real. I'm feeling it. So it's easier to get people to play a part of the culture.
Yes. How do you, so stepping away from culture a little bit, talk about the systems and processes that you have in place also to kind of streamline things across the companies. Like, do you have a specific software platform, you don't have to name it, but that you use across the board? Do you have some kind of standard operating procedures that are the same across all the franchises to make sure that things are consistent no matter where the company is?
Yes, absolutely. So as I transitioned to the COO position, which I think was in about 2020, that was one of my main goals, to make sure that we form a solid foundation to support our growth, right? To where we are today in 2024. And that's what we've done. We've touched every department, make sure that we have SOPs and we have protocols and we have systems in place to ensure that each department complements each other. Each department understands and knows what they do and how do we support our franchisees. And we're all moving towards the same direction. Another thing that we did, we refer to it as an OKR goals. So at the end of every year and the beginning of every year, we gather as a team and we evaluate the previous year that we had. And then we're setting new goals for ourselves and also discussing what we learned from previous years and what new initiatives we can do in the upcoming year. So we're making sure that we're all on the same page. Obviously, it's something dynamic. We revisit that every month. We revisit that every quarter. And sometimes, make changes to it to make sure that that we are moving towards the right direction that we're aiming for. So processes was a big thing. Form new departments, national accounts department. That was a big thing that we didn't have in 2020 to make sure that we can support our clients. So today, very happy to be where we're at today, where we have great systems. We have proprietary technology that we developed, so we're big on innovations. The name is Gazingo. So that's our CRM that everyone are using. We use that to support our national accounts client. We use that internally as well. And the big thing behind it, again, sorry, going back to the culture again, it's customizing it to our franchisees' need, really. Because today, there's so many CRMs out there, but if you ask different restoration company, they all use different CRMs out there because it's hard to find. Some have benefits that the other doesn't. And we have the benefit to develop our own, right? So we can learn from what others are doing, what's missing, and then we have our own CRM to make sure that, franchisees have the best tools out there and the best systems, and of course, implement everything uniformly across the US and Canada.
So, Idan, I'll toss this one to you first. What do you see? I'm going to go back to the culture piece because that is kind of the core theme of what we're talking about. Can you give us, both of you could answer this one, but what are some examples, an example or two of things that you see some of your franchise owners doing that are creating epic cultures within their individual franchise? Maybe it's something unique. I mean, obviously we talk about benefits and, maybe doing a pizza party, having good pay, those kind of things. But do you see anything unique that some of your franchises are doing that's like, yeah, they have a rock star culture and people love to work there?
I think I don't. I remember there was one thing that happened in Detroit maybe a year ago or something. Miri with one of the guys. Okay, I think it was also in the news, right? That he went an extra mile to really
Oh
help.
yeah, there's someone
I
with on
don't
a
remember
wheelchair.
exactly the story, but this will be a great example, Miri, if you remember to share the story. But that's just one example, right? But it's really walking this extra mile or even sometimes 10 miles, right? And really
Mm-hmm.
putting the customer first. I mean, there's so many crazy stories. So Miri, if
Yeah.
you remember that story, if you want to share it. Yeah.
Yeah, so we had one of our franchisees in Detroit, Michigan, Detroit, where they saw someone just kind of, at the street with a wheelchair, and he fell. So what he did, I think that was the project manager. He went to that person and he helped, pick him up and put him on the wheelchair, and called 911, which, because he was a little bit injured. Surprisingly, 911 couldn't make it, so he drove them all the way. Yes, they asked him if he can help, so he drove them all the way to the hospital, and came back. So that was something like these are the moments that you said, I'm so grateful to be part of this
Mm-hmm.
company. But in general, in terms of culture, in terms of franchises culture, it's kind of similar to what we do, right? So a lot of them, I mean, it's all about the people, is make sure that they, have these personal conversations with the people. It's like, what are you passionate about? Like,
Mm-hmm.
is this the right role for you? How do I help you grow? Education is a big thing, whether if it's, paying for the IIC or C certificates or any seminars or convention, though, whatever, really invest in their development, which
Mm-hmm.
makes it, for them, they feel appreciated. They feel that, the company is investing in them and they feel good. And, obviously, of course, a very important thing is make sure that their voice is being heard, right? So there's open dialogue, open communication with the owners and the project managers, which we love seeing.
Perfect. So I'm curious what kind of challenges you're seeing your franchisees facing right now. What are maybe the top three biggest challenges that they're facing? And then we can maybe talk about solutions. But what, especially economically, what are some of the big challenges that they're facing? I don't know who wants to take that first. I'll let you guys
Yeah.
choose.
Miri.
I said hiring, right? Hiring
Yep,
is a big thing. I think that's an industry thing
it
today,
is.
especially
Yep.
after COVID. After COVID kind of really changed the dynamic of the market, and at least like hiring and how people approach things. There are more positions, right? People that work from home. So that made things a bit more challenging for us. So yeah, that's I think one of the biggest things that I can think of.
I mean,
Don,
another,
anything? Yeah,
yeah,
go
I
ahead.
can add one more part that we're seeing the technology in the restoration industry. I mean, there's so much new technologies
Yes.
that comes in, and it's very fragmented right now, right? That's one of the
Yes.
reasons that we wanted to have our own software, right? So we can connect, and at one point we can find a way to integrate with other software out there, but we see the frustration out in the field when you work with one TPA, you need to use one program, and then you use with another client, you need to use another program, and it's when I go and I meet when I met in the past with the other vendors or TPA, they are surprised how a franchisee will drive an hour, do the work, set up the blowers, dehumidifiers, do everything, but will not click a link just to notify them that he got there, and that's really what impact is score, right? So
Yes.
on the vendor side, they're going crazy. Why the franchisee or the contractor cannot just click a link, right? But then on the contractor side, is like, okay, which app do I need to use now? Where is this link? This is overwhelming, especially when we know many people in the field are not as comfortable adopting new technologies. So I think it's changing a lot, and people are understanding that technology have to be part of your business. But I think that is a challenge that we see today. And I still see in the industry new technology is coming up, and companies are insisting to have their technology, and they don't want their technology to connect to the other technology, and on and on. So I see it as a challenge, but hopefully there's going to be a lot more integration. And that's the reason that it was important for us to have our own software, so we can have some control with integration. So we can try to find ways to make it easier at one point.
There's a lot going on in the technology space. That is for sure. And that's a common pain point of what do we even do? So, okay. So what are your goals from here? What are 911 Restoration's goals for maybe the coming year, the coming 3 to 5 years? I don't know how far out you want to project, but where are you going from here? Idan, you want to take that one first?
Oh, Miri.
Always ask Miri first. I got it.
Yeah.
Okay.
Our goal is really to be the go-to company when people has any restoration needs throughout the US and Canada, period. That's what we're doing. How do we do that? We're very focused right now in launching branding campaign. We started doing that towards the end of 2022, which we didn't have before. We have a great executive director of marketing who's doing a phenomenal job shooting commercials, right? B2B, B2C, lots of different platforms that we're showing our ads and will show our ads. But that's our biggest thing, brand awareness, and really show people that there's a different way to do things. I think one of the things, and that's really more on a personal note for me, how to kind of take advantage of the stage that I have, is really to inspire people to be open and see the other side and really form and contribute to build communities that are more founded based on empathy, and collaboration and caring and listen to each other. So, for us, like, to be here and be part of such an amazing organization that has like thousands of employees part of it, and to start that spark, right? To have some more positivity in the world. So these are the big things for me.
As you hear, there is like a mission here for us.
Yeah.
It's not just the business for the business sense. We really see it as an opportunity for us to have some of this influence, as Miri just brought. And I think if you go online and look at our ads or look at our new commercial, we are really repositioning ourselves as a company. I mean, we have one of our commercials saying that we hope we never get to meet you. We don't want you to hire us, right?
Yeah.
So it's very different, but it's really trying to really take the idea of the fresh start and make it more real for people. Like, we really understand that going through a water damage is a pain, right? It's the same thing that we're telling our franchisees. We really understand that when you are so busy in your day to day and when you worry about your employees and your team, we understand that you're going through a hard time right now. We're here to help you and support you, right? So having this idea of fresh start kind of really go through our entire process. If it's our people in our office, our franchisees, and it's very clear to us that if our team is happy where he is and they're ready to serve, that will bleed into our franchisees. And if they're going to feel the same feeling and they're going to embody the idea of the fresh starts and communication, really taking care of their people, that will bleed to our customers. And I think long term, that's really how you're built. That's what company is all about, right?
Yes, absolutely. Okay. Before we wrap it up, one of my favorite things to ask is stories. I asked about culture stories already, but stories of interesting losses that your franchisees have had, or whatever it may be. Just, the restoration industry is chock full of stories. We're actually starting a gossip column kind of in CNR with like the stories that everybody wants to tell but can only tell anonymously anyway. But so any memorable stories that you can think of that restorers would hear and go, yeah, I feel that.
Do you have one down, or do you want me to go?
No, you first.
So it's a recent story. I don't know how much you're familiar with LA, but East LA, right? It's an area that you don't want to go to.
Okay.
In general, but definitely not after hours, right? Unless you're a police officer. But one day we got a call for a homeless shelter in East LA. It was a building that no one really wanted to serve.
Yep.
They called other restoration companies, and no one was willing to go there. They're too scared. It's these streets that you leave your car and you don't know if you're going to come back and it's still going to be there, or, you're afraid even to go out of the car and, step into the building. So we did, right? We said, okay, well, we're up for the challenge. We're people there that need our help. And it was a mold job. I couldn't even try to describe, I could share the videos if you want after, but I've never seen mold growth to that extent. It was literally that everything was rotten. Like if you would step on the floor, it was a few stories building that you would go down, right, to the floor underneath. So not only the safety, right, personal safety risk, but what they've seen there, was crazy, and on top of that, the different people that actually live there, right? Some of them are drug addicts, which is not easy to see. Some of them, it's just people that they're, weren't as lucky and found themselves in the streets. And, we had to do that. Like there was literally like a guard, before we came and we left to make sure that we keep everyone secured, also health-wise, right? Because we've never seen mold growth to that extent. It was quite of a job, I'll tell you that. That was the one that I remember also speaking with the project manager, like literally before he came, it was like, okay, I'm going in, and then, I'm going out, just in case. But it's, after you do something like that, it's, you have that sense of, you're so grateful. Right. I was able to help it, like no one else wanted to help them. And we did it, even though it was quite of a challenge, but we're up for the mission.
That was a great story.
Yeah.
Idan, can you top it?
No, I think we're good with the Miri story. Yeah.
Okay. Well, anything else that either of you want to share before we wrap it up? I really appreciate both of your time, and congrats on the success of 911 restoration. And, as somebody who's, I've known Idan for a while, and your messaging is so incredibly consistent about culture. That was probably one of the first words that I ever heard, and then columns about it, all of the things. You're so consistent on it. And that is amazing to see in the industry and needed. And so thank you both very much for being here, and I hope you have an awesome rest of your day.
Absolutely.
It was a pleasure being here. Thank you.
For more Restoration Today and the latest news, visit our website, cnrmagazine.com, and find the latest episodes of the Restoration Today podcast on your favorite podcasting platform.